What's up everyone, this is FP6 bringing you some more Go Battle League battles here in the Ultra Remix Cup, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing a team that I ran and gained almost 200 points with in just 5 sets running this team, and it only has one XL Pokemon on it, being XL PIDGEOT. You can see the movesets and the IVs on the screen here. Man, the Ultra Remix meta has just become so stale and boring in my opinion, with so many Mandibuzz and G-Fisk, Jellicent, Alola Ninetales, and Scrafty on almost every team, that I wanted to just try something a little bit different. I finally got enough XL candies to max out my Hundo Pidgeot, so I'm running kind of a double normal team with Pidgeot and Snorlax, and then Escavalier in the back. Snorlax is typically going to be the safe swap on this team, and then Escavalier is going to be like my hard counter to any Alola Ninetales or G-Fisk or normal type set come in like Snorlax. And in this first set, you're gonna see me take a lot of losses. I lose a good amount of games, and then from there, all the sets that follow, I kind of learn from my mistakes, and you can kind of see how that progression goes. Longer video today, so as always, if you appreciate the longer content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But my Escavalier is stuck against a Lugia right now, and one thing I forgot to mention in the intro of this video, but this team, I was actually able to climb all the way up to the 2800s running it, which was really fun. I had a hot streak. I have since dropped a little bit from there, but able to make it to the 2800s, pretty exciting. And unfortunately, my Pidgeot is going to get licked down by the Snorlax there. Good game. All right, Pidgeot into Jellicent. This team does fairly well against Jellicent, and I believe this is against one of my friends, the C2U. His name is Corey. He's originally from Colorado. He's running Bubble and Bubble Beam on his Jellicent. Because he was staying in, I really thought that he was going to run Ice Beam, but I'm just going to throw a Brave Bird and then swap, and he also makes a simultaneous swap into his Pidgeot. This is not great for my Snorlax at all. But I do get a pretty early shield there, which is nice for me. Makes sense because he's probably just going to go straight for the Feather Dance spam here for the debuffs. The issue here is that I'm going to get heavily farmed down, and my team doesn't really have a solid response to an opposing Pidgeot. So I'm just going to throw these body slams here, do as much chip damage as possible, but I already know that I'm most likely going to get farmed down. I'm only going to get to one more move here, so I throw the superpower. A Gust sneaks through there, so poor timing on my part. I just swap right into my Pidgeot to avoid the farm down, and he does go straight for the Brave Bird. Really nice play. In the back is a Ferrothorn, and in my head I'm thinking, okay, I have a win condition here if this Ferrothorn does not have Thunder. So I'm just going to no shield and hope that it doesn't have Thunder, but of course it does. That is so bad for me. I can't farm this thing all the way down without getting hit by another Thunder, so I have to throw here. Escavalier does win CMP. Down goes the Ferrothorn. Out comes that Pidgeot again. I know this is just going to be a Feather Dance, but I have to shield. I swap into my Snorlax to clear the debuff, but he still has a shield and a Jellicent that is going to be able to get to a charge move here, unfortunately, and Shadow Ball will be able to take me out. Really well played by my opponent there. Alright, Pidgeot into Drapion. Fairly neutral matchup here. Pidgeot does have the Feather Dance to guaranteed drop the attack of the Drapion, but Drapion does have Crunch that potentially will lower Pidgeot's defense. In this opening, sometimes I like to just go straight for the Feather Dance, sometimes I like to go straight for the Brave Bird, but man, I was having a really off day in this first set. I could not read my opponents to save my life. Every time I threw a Brave Bird, it got shielded. Every time I baited with Feather Dance, they let it through. So my Snorlax is stuck against this Toxicroak, but I need to get both of these body slams off and hopefully draw a shield in this matchup. Able to get a shield right there. That's great for me. I am running a normal Snorlax just because I don't have a Shadow Snorlax built for Ultra League. Really wish I did. Shadow Lax is so great for that boosted lick damage, but I just do not have one, unfortunately. At this point, I'm thinking that double shielded Escavalier is going to have to be my win condition. I farmed down the Toxicroak. I know that they still have a Drapion. They also have a G-Fisk. So this S-Cavalier has a lot of work to do. This G-Fisk is throwing right at Rock Slide range. I knew that I would survive, so I let that go through. And then at this point, I actually think that my opponent like crashed their app or lagged out. But either way, with me no shielding that Rock Slide, it put me in a pretty good position there, because I would have been able to farm down this G-Fisk and have a lot of energy for their Drapion. And so that's where, if they would have built up to the Earthquake energy, they would have at least gotten a shield from me early on. But S-Cavalier up a shield most likely would have been able to take out their backline. So I'm not sure if they lagged out or whatever. Always unfortunate when that happens. But terrible lead here. Going to use my Snorlax as a safe swap, and it's punished by a defense Deoxys. This is more so a neutral matchup here. We're both hitting each other for super effective damage with our fast moves. But just because of pure stat product, Deoxys does have the slight upper hand in this matchup. I got an early shield, so I'm going to just take the shield advantage and roll with it. But this Deoxys is still very healthy and is going to be kind of tough to deal with. Not able to get to another body slam there. I have to try to go for a really big farm down here with PIDGEOT, or just safely absorb this damage and eventually make a move into my S-Cavalier and hope that the shield advantage will win me the game. I already know that my PIDGEOT is going to be stuck against the Stunfisk, so no point in shielding there. I have a slight energy advantage. Out comes the G-Fisk. I'm really hoping that my S-Cavalier will have some play against what's in the back. I call the Rock Slide here. Farming as much as possible. We're going to throw the Drill Run right here. I do believe the Stunfisk will be able to survive this though. They let it go through. I do have to shield this Rock Slide now. And in the back is a Blastoise. Oh my gosh, not looking great for me. I'm going to go straight for the Mega Horn here on the first move. I see what they want to do. They let it go through. I have a move stored on my Pidgeot, but they still had a shield, so I had to commit to the fast move farm down there, and it was not able to happen. Good game. A Bomb Snow. Yikes. So I'm going to stay in here with my Pidgeot, and I sneak a Gust through because my opponent threw on alignment. So going to shield this up. Gonna throw this Feather Dance, and I believe this might be just enough to knock out this Bomb Snow. It is. So because I won that lead so hard, I'm going to swap into my Snorlax here and see if my Pidgeot will have play against something in the back. They have their own Pidgeot. Okay, this is going to be very, very sketchy, because as we know, an opposing Pidgeot has really solid play against my team. I don't really have a direct response to it. Trying to throw these moves in the middle of the Gust here to avoid extra fast moves being snuck through. My opponent is really farming up. This is for sure a Feather Dance, and I think I survive it. I do. Able to get this Body Slam off, but I know I'm going to get farmed down. I might even switch out right here. Yeah, going to go right back into my own Pidgeot and throw the what looks like the Brave Bird immediately. My opponent lets it go. Thank goodness. Out comes that Deoxys again, but I'm going to get farmed down. That is so bad for me. I need to land 2 moves on this Deoxys because they have a shield. I'm just going to shield this first move. They're definitely going to go for the big move. Now, I'm hoping after all of this counter damage that maybe Drill Run would be enough, but it's going to be very, very close. No counter goes through. Gonna throw the Drill Run right here. And I have to throw my move right there. The Deoxys is right at a charge move. Not able to get to the Mega Horn. Drill Run is not enough to take it out. But this is a Psycho Boost, I believe. That takes me out, and my Snorlax is barely able to farm down that Deoxys. Okay, tough first set there. But now we're going to go on our hot streak with this team here. So Pidgeot and a Scrafty, definitely solid for me. Out comes a Powder Snow, Alolan Ninetales. In the 2 shield, it's actually a little bit sketchy with S-Cavalier, surprisingly, just because this Ninetales is so spammy with the charge moves. So I threw that Brave Bird just to guarantee that first shield. And I want to leave this matchup with as much stored energy as possible on my SCAV without having to commit a shield. But the Alolan Ninetales is just awkwardly, like, barely too bulky, where this drill run puts it in an awkward farm down range. I'm going to let this go and really hope that I don't get hit by another move. I'm able to get the farm down. That's really good for me. Out comes a Jellicent. And so at this point, I know that the game is over. I can safely align my Snorlax with the Jellicent and keep my Pidgeot for the Scrafty. Definitely favorable alignment in my favor. This team comp is so freaking common. Jellicent, Scrafty, Alolan Ninetales. It's like one of the most common trios in Ultra Remix. And depending on what the lead is, this team does fairly well against it. Because both Pidgeot and Snorlax have good play against Jellicent. It's always unfortunate when the Snorlax gets hard punished by a Scrafty, but it's still workable. Alright, Drifblim in the lead. So I am double resisting the hexes, but the Icy Wind will hurt. Pidgeot's performance in Ultra Remix has been somewhat lackluster. I think it's good. I don't think it's like game-breakingly amazing. I threw the Feather Dance on this Greedent just to guarantee that I can try to get as much farm with my Escavalier as possible. These Bullet Seeds are double resisted. The Crunch is hardly doing any damage. I know that my Escav is going to be meeting that Drifblim. And so, if I can land some Mega Horns on the Drifblim, that'll be good for me. Out comes that Drifblim. I throw one counter and then throw for optimal fast move timing. Both Drill Run and Mega Horn are double resisted, and so I end up deciding to save my Escavalier because I don't want all that farmed energy to go to waste on the Drifblim. And I had two responses to the Drifblim regardless in my Snorlax and Pidgeot. So because I made that swap, this is looking pretty solid for me. I will shield this Rock Slide here. I need to start burning shields. Gonna throw another Superpower. And they let that one go through. It ended up being a CMP tie, which was unfortunate. I'm actually gonna end up shielding this big Earthquake. Out comes the Drifblim once again. This Mega Horn is still going to do some decent chip damage. And that ended up being a CMP tie as well. Shadow Ball takes me out. That's totally fine. I believe I go for a Pidgeot farm down here. Yes. I end up getting hit by an Icy Wind here, which is unfortunate, but I am able to survive it. I really need to get to a Brave Bird. So I commit to the Brave Bird. And I'm single debuff so it doesn't KO. Another CMP tie. One. Very fortunate for me. And now Snorlax will easily be able to just farm down the G-Fisk and take that game. Good game. Another Drifblim lead. Saw these back to back. So when they throw immediately like this, sometimes you're able to sneak in a fast move. Sometimes you're not. That time I was able to get a Gust through. And it's always a toss-up. Do you bait or do you go for the Brave Bird? I'm going for Feather Dance here. And they no shield. Oh, it feels so bad. But now, this Icy Wind, I don't need a shield. I am at least guaranteeing that my Escavalier doesn't have to deal with this Drifblim. I win the lead. Most likely going to get farmed down by something. It's a Typhlosion. Holy crap. Thank goodness I won the lead. Because if my Escavalier was stuck against this, I'd be in a world of hurt. Because it's an Incinerate Typhlosion. Shadow Claw, depending on energy management, Escavalier can totally hang with that. But not Incinerate Typhlosion. That would burn it up really fast. The issue here is that I know this Typhlosion has an energy advantage over me. So I have to shield this. And I throw the Body Slam in the middle of the Incinerate animation to guarantee that they cannot swap out. And here comes a blast burn. I think my Snorlax is barely able to tank this. Yep. And out comes Venusaur. Really nice catch by them, but I know what my win condition is now. I just need to leave this Venusaur matchup with a drill run loaded because their Typhlosion is energy dry. So I know that if I build to 100 energy, that is enough to stack Mega Horn and Drill Run back to back. Mega Horn is 55 energy, Drill Run is 45. So I think that's what I end up doing. Yep, I'm at 100. Gonna throw the Mega Horn to guarantee that the Venusaur is gone. And then there's my Drill Run. This will definitely be enough to take out the Typhlosion and able to win that game there. Good game. Pidgeot into Escavalier. Definitely favorable for me. The fast moves are hitting for neutral. Out comes Gyarados. I really don't have a amazing response to this. Snorlax is my best option. So in this particular scenario, I save my energy and then I swap. And what I want to do here is leave this matchup with my Snorlax with low health and a lot of energy, so the Escavalier won't be able to farm as much. And I can potentially rip off a superpower on that Escav. Down goes the Gyarados. I know that Escavalier is coming back in. Farming, farming, farming. They end up throwing right here. And I have 2 superpowers, so I definitely feel like it's worth the shield. This first one was a CMP tie anyways. So there's the first superpower. Gonna throw the second one. And they most likely let this one go through. They do. They get a little bit more farm. I have energy on my Pidgeot. They catch a Brave Bird on their Umbreon. Nice play. But I'm just going to swap into my Escavalier. And I need to make sure that my Escavalier has an energy advantage against their Escav in the back for the end game. So I'm going to throw the Drill Run here. Really hope that this is enough, but the Umbreon might barely survive this. Oh my gosh, it does? That is so unfortunate for me. I have to... Yeah, because now I'm going to get countered down. I think I had to shield that because my Pidgeot is not going to be able to get to another move. Definitely had to shield that. But luckily, it looks like this is going to be fast move beatdown. So I shield this, and I'm barely able to gust down the Escavalier. What a close game. Really well played by my opponent there. Okay, Giratina in the lead. Pidgeot and Snorlax both have a good amount of play against the Giratina. I had a feeling this Mewtwo was going to throw immediately, so I end up catching a Side Strike on my Escavalier, which is really good for me. Resisted damage. I know that Escav wins CMP against Armored Mewtwo, so I'm throwing this Mega Horn right here. This can do a lot of damage. It's enough to take out the Mewtwo. The Giratina comes back in, and these Drill Runs will be hitting for nice neutral damage. If this Giratina has Ominous Wind and Shadow Ball, my Snorlax and my Pidgeot totally wall it, and they reveal Ominous Wind right there. So I actually end up coming in Pidgeot. I'm just going to go straight for the Brave Bird here. Yep. They thought it was a Feather Dance, but it was not. And now Snorlax is just easily going to clean up this end game. But it's the fast move damage from Snorlax that I need for the Giratina. So I did end up throwing the Body Slam there. The Sylveon is kind of difficult to farm down, but I commit to the farm down right there. I mean, this game is super over. I have 2 normal types against a ghost type that only has ghost type charge moves. So good game there. Gliscor, all right. They swap into G-Fisk, and now with Escavalier, you have to be pretty fast on the response here. This matchup is kind of scary in the 2 shields if you get baited. I got baited on the first Rock Slide. If the G-Fisk gets a huge energy advantage and they're able to double bait, they can flip this matchup. No counter goes through the second time around, unfortunately. I get double baited. I'm very scared here. But my opponent panics and throws a Rock Slide super early. If they would have committed to the earthquake, they easily would have won that, but instead they gave me an opportunity to farm all the way down. I do not want that energy to go to waste, so I'm going to swap into Snorlax, and I bait out Escavalier. They throw a Mega Horn, my Snorlax is able to survive that. I get to a superpower here. I don't have enough for back-to-back superpowers, but unfortunately that counter that went through does take me out. I have a lot of energy loaded on my Escavalier. 2 drill runs. I'm at 100 energy here. So going to throw the first one. And then going to throw the second. And then Pidgeot, I just need to get to a Brave Bird. And I'll be able to take out that Gliscor pretty easily. If the Gliscor does boost with Night Slash, that gets a little bit sketchier. But the unboosted Night Slash just really does not do that much. And Brave Bird is easily going to take this game here for sure. And going to be able to take out that Gliscor. Gliscor is definitely an interesting pick. Has play against G-Fisk with the Earthquakes. Has play against the Scrafty with that flying type damage. Pretty cool. Shadow Machamp, I'm glad I see this in the lead. Out comes the G-Fisk. It is so difficult to make a quick swap into the Escavalier when you're stuck in the Gust animation. I correctly shield up an Earthquake, thank goodness. But I know what's going to happen here. They're most likely going to save their shields for Machamp, get a huge farm, and then have a bunch of energy to threaten my Pidgeot. So I will be able to burn a shield with this drill run, but this Machamp is going to get a lot of energy. Really nice counting by my opponent. They're going to throw their Cross Chop, but they're essentially at a Rock Slide already. They swap into Drapion. And then I need to get my Snorlax into this matchup, even though it's not that ideal. I throw Brave Bird here, which arguably is a mistake. But it does get the last shield. So now what I have to do here is farm with my Snorlax and anticipate when they are going to make the swap into the Machamp. I know Machamp wins CMP, so I need to anticipate when they're going to make that swap. I have a feeling they're going to swap right after this charge move, so I think I preemptively click the Body Slam. No, they're still in with Drapion. I think they swap right here though, so I go back to back. Yep, that's exactly what happened. They swap Machamp. I land the Body Slam on the Machamp, which is really good for me. I swap the Pidgeot. I have to shield here. And then I need to farm down this Machamp and then finish off the Drapion. Gonna throw this Feather Dance. And then the Gust. Well, the Feather Dance is able to take out the Drapion. Really close game. Well played by my opponent. Another Drifblim lead. So if they throw right when they get the Icy Wind, sometimes you're able to sneak one through like I was right there. Just because of how the fast moves align. I'm going for Feather Dance again. Oh boy. Does this Drifblim shield? No. Oh my gosh, it feels so bad. All these opportunities I could have Brave Bird and I didn't. I'm going to go for the Brave Bird here. This just guarantees it'll win the lead. But they end up shielding that one. Oh my gosh. And then they give up switch advantage after shielding in the lead. So I'm able to get my Escavalier on this Snorlax. And they massively overfarm and allow me to get to this Mega Horn. And they totally sacrifice the Snorlax. So I'm in a very good position here. I really kind of want to keep my Escavalier alive for whatever they have in the back. So I'm going to shield up this Shadow Ball. Farm as much as I can. And then I'm going to throw this Mega Horn and see what they want to do. They end up shielding as well. So I really have a feeling that Escavalier is going to have play against the back line. So I catch a Shadow Ball on my Snorlax. Feels good. And it's a freaking Scrafty in the back. So I'm glad I saved my Escav. I'm glad I still have a little bit of my Pidgeot left. So I need to throw this superpower, but the Scrafty is farming up so much. Not able to get to a move here. Man, Scrafty is so brutal when he gets a big energy advantage like that. I need to try to make a catch on my Pidgeot. It's definitely going to be power up punch, but these counters are doing too much damage. They were right at the foul play, but they did not throw. So if I would have just stayed in, I would have gotten to the drill run and won CMP. So props to my opponent for not throwing into my Pidgeot. Sylveon in the lead. Oh my gosh. So the charms are really adding up. They catch a Brave Bird on their Typhlosion. I didn't see what the fast move is, but I just swap into my Snorlax. It ends up being Shadow Claw. This is so good for me. I can farm this all the way down, tank one Blast Burn, and then have energy for whatever they want to bring in. Most likely okay, so it's a double fire team. Thank goodness. Thank goodness my Escavalier gets to avoid this. Plus the Charizard has Fire Spin. So even worse for my Escavalier. These body slams are really adding up. They're saving both shields for their Sylveon, it looks like. I was hoping that this was Dragon Claw. They end up going for the nuke. Props to them for not messing around. There's their swap, and my Escavalier is easily going to be able to take out the Sylveon. Game is pretty much over at this point. I do outpace this Sylveon to the charge moves. Plus, the charm damage is resisted. And these drill runs do end up hitting for neutral. And at this point, Pidgeot can even win the game for me. Nice play by them, going for the farm with Charizard. All I need to do is get one Gust through, and I'm able to take out that Charizard there. Good game. Okay, this game was hilarious. And funny story, after this game, my stream crashed. And I had to restart my computer, so this is kind of hilarious. Just watch this team; it's so good. Okay, I catch a Side Strike on my Snorlax. Out comes a Beartic. A Beartic. Oh my goodness! This polar bear has Powder Snow as the fast move. I know it has Ice Punch, Surf, and Play Rough. So I'm wondering if it's running Play Rough and Surf. If that's the case, my Escavalier is actually not as solid against it. Gonna go for the superpower here. Beartic is pure ice, so that would hit for super effective. But they end up double shielding. They love their polar bear. You gotta respect it. I bring out my Escav, and at this point, I'm just like, okay, please don't have Surf. Don't have Surf. They end up having Surf. That is really unfortunate. So I do have to commit a shield in this matchup. I know that they have Mewtwo in the lead, so this energy will be able to go somewhere. And what do they have in the back? What do they have in the back? It's another bear! It's an Ursaring! Oh my goodness, when I was battling this person on my stream, I was laughing out loud because this team was so awesome. So wild and unexpected. Megahorn does so much damage. Down goes the Mewtwo. Good game. Couple more battles here in the video. Shadow Machamp lead, always good to see. This is typically paired with the G-Fisk and a Snorlax. That's the Wholesome team. Wholesome is another content creator on Twitch, very talented battler, and that is his like signature team, at least for Ultra Remix, is Shadow Champ and then Shadowlax and G-Fisk. Sometimes the G-Fisk is an Alolan Muck in like normal Ultra Premier. And Shadow Machamp with loaded energy is frightening. Even if this is a Rock Slide, I kind of just want to let it go. So I let that go and ends up being just a Cross Chop, thank goodness. Now this move I will shield, but I am anticipating that there might be a G-Fisk in the back, and there is. That's so rough for me. Because in an even shielding scenario, this is kind of tough for the Snorlax. So farming, and I'm going to get hit by a big move. I want them to throw their move before I throw my superpower. So my defense is still at max. Gonna throw the superpower right here. And they let that go through. I'm gonna bait with the body slam right here. This is a super risky bait, but it ends up paying off. And I'm able to get to this final superpower. They overfarmed a little bit too much. Down goes the G-Fisk, and I have energy on my Pidgeot to take out the Machamp with a Brave Bird, going down in style. Good game. Pidgeot into a G-Fisk. Not great, so I'm going to use my Snorlax on the swap there. And they're staying in. When they stay in, this means they don't have a hard counter to the Lax. So I typically shield that first move because it ends up being the Earthquake a lot of the time. Gonna throw the superpower and they let it go. They're gonna throw another move here and it ends up being an Earthquake. Does a lot of damage. Now they're gonna switch in Venusaur. Stunfisk and Venusaur is a very solid pairing. It's just a matter of what they're going to have as that third Pokemon. Sometimes it's Kingdra, sometimes it's Gallade, sometimes it's Galvantula, sometimes it's Jellicent. There's a number of different things that it could be. Really hoping this was not a Sludge Bomb, but it was. Luckily, I'm still barely able to survive. I know that my Pidgeot's going to be stuck against that G-Fisk, which is why I kind of just brought it back out onto the Venusaur, recognizing that our switch clocks were desynced. And it is a Kingdra in the back. I like this team a lot, the Stunfisk, Kingdra, Venusaur team. Escavalier does resist the Dragon type damage, but that Octazooka debuff can be really devastating. Have to shield this, and I don't get debuffed by some miracle. Able to get to another drill run here. I have energy stored on my Snorlax still. I burn the final shield. I go for a catch, but also to throw this energy. The body slam lands. This lick damage is really adding up. I farmed the G-Fisk all the way down, and they gave me enough energy to get to another move against that Kingdra there. Good game. Politoed. If they're running Blizzard, this is scary, but they're throwing so early here, I know that this is Weather Ball. And this is a pretty decent matchup for the Pidgeot just because their fast moves are doing hardly any damage to me. So I'm farming up a lot here. And people that lead a water type, they need some sort of anti-grass. So sometimes that's an ice type, sometimes it's a fire type or a flying type. I go straight for the Brave Bird and they let it go. I use my Snorlax safe swap, and I now know that my Escavalier is going to be paired up against their Alolan Ninetales in the back. So it's looking pretty decent for me. I'm going to throw these neutral body slams against this Mandibuzz, but this is a pretty painful matchup for the Snorlax. These licks are only doing like 1 damage a piece on this Mandibuzz. So it really takes a while to chunk this thing down. Oh my goodness. Dark Pulse is really adding up, and poor timing on my part. I let a Snarl go through. But I know Escavalier is my win condition, so I'm saving the shields for that. I actually end up bringing in the Pidgeot to try to safely absorb some damage. Which in hindsight might have been a bad play. Because these Weather Balls really add up. And this is where I'm saying, like, in the 2 shield, this matchup is not comfortable for the Escav at all. And it's so sad. Because you just get outpaced by these charge moves, despite it being resisted damage the whole time. Like, I still have 2 shields. I have to start shielding eventually. But that Mandibuzz is still fairly healthy and has some energy. Have to shield this Weather Ball, unfortunately. My opponent swaps the Mandibuzz right there, and they had enough energy to get there. I could have tried to make a sack swap there, but I failed on my energy management, and my opponent's able to take that game. Very well played by my opponent. So I had a lot of fun with this team. The double normal strat and only using 1 XL Pokemon was kind of a fun challenge. Able to break the 2800s there. If you all enjoyed this content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.